Moving on to Michigan State, it seemed like St. Louis dared Keith Appling to shoot the ball. Do you think Louisville will dare him to shoot the ball again?
It was an interesting strategy. Rick Majerus is a guy that I worked with for a number of years, and so I know him pretty well, and I have a lot of respect for him. Particularly as he's a great defensive coach, and I think that when you play teams with more weapons than you have, you are forced to make certain choices. And the choice that they chose to make was Keith Appling. Let Keith Appling beat us rather than, letting Draymond Green, say, beat us inside. Now, as it turned out, of course, Draymond had a pretty nice game himself with double-double, 16 and 13. But, again, on the perimeter, as you say, it's a perfect way to put it. They dared Appling to beat them, and to a certain extent he did. Louisville... obviously a team that is very good defensively as well. That's their biggest strength. To me, the question is whether Louisville will be able to score enough to keep up with Michigan State. But, intriguing matchup, two great coaches. So this is the second time in a row now that Izzo comes up against a great coach, because I absolutely put Majerus in that category. I think he's a fantastic coach. We all know how good Pitino is. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun game.
This is the first meeting for Louisville, I believe, this season against the Big Ten team. Getting back to Keith Appling, though, how much would you say he has matured this season since those early losses to Duke and North Carolina, where he had, 0 assists, 5 turnovers? He moved from the 2 to the 1. How much would you say he has matured this year?
You bring up a great point on him moving from that off-guard spot to the point guard spot. And I just think it's a tough transition to make, when you haven't historically been a point guard. And Michigan State's system, the point guards historically have also been really good leaders. And so I think there's kind of an extra pressure involved with that. And it took a little bit of time for him, the guy is a, Michigan Mr. Basketball. He's a pure scorer. He put up some huge numbers in the state tournament his senior year in high school. That was his McDonald's All-American. This is kind of his rap coming in, and it's tough to kind of sublimate that and just say, okay, I'm going to do the role that needs to be played on this team. I'm going to play that role, and so I give Keith a lot of credit. I think he's handled it really well, and he has really matured. Absolutely. A much more mature player than he was a year ago.
A very intriguing matchup is Peyton Siva going up against Keith Appling. One to certainly watch. Last question on this game. Kyle Kuric always seems to be that player that is the X factor, in my honest opinion, for Louisville. In some losses this year against Kentucky, he had 2 points. Providence, he had 11. Syracuse, he had 3. Cincinnati, 4. Syracuse, 8. All of those were losses. His season average is 13 points. So if he doesn't put up 13, it seems like the game may sway a little bit in Michigan State's edge. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Well, I think that he is a good, pretty good gauge of how they play. He obviously is their best outside shooting threat, their best three-point shooter. As to whether or not, I guess I haven't studied Louisville closely enough to say, is it as he goes, so goes Louisville? But certainly he's played really well in this stretch of games that they've won. He's been in double figures in every single game in these 6 straight victories. That doesn't necessarily mean, he had one game in the Big East tournament, he's like 2 of 10 or 11 or something from 3. So, whether or not he has to play well for them to win, I think that might somewhat be overstating it, but I think it's important against Michigan State to be able to stretch them a little bit defensively. And, teams have had a real hard time shooting from the outside against them, which is the exact opposite of last year. That was very interesting. It was a very uncharacteristic Izzo team last season, and that we saw teams really hit the 3 against them. Their perimeter defense was just not where it historically has been. And the teams that have beaten them this year have hit 3-pointers. So, does Kuric have to have a great game for them to win? I'm not sure I'm willing to go that far, but if he does have a good game, it would certainly help Louisville tremendously. Someone has to shoot the 3 well to beat them.
I guess the last question on this game, do you put Bohannon or Gorgui Dieng on Draymond Green? How do you stop this guy?
I don't know that you do stop him. He's a tough matchup for whoever is on him, just size-wise. He's just inside, if you put your biggest guy on him, then he pulls them out on the perimeter and guys are uncomfortable out there. If you put someone who's similar size to him, then he goes inside and just eats them up. He's so unselfish. He is such a neat player to cover. I mean, it has really been cool, Rick, to watch him, to see how he's matured here over these last 4 years and to see what a great leader he's become. And Izzo just relies on him, leans on him so much. It's neat. I don't know how to stop him. I mean, no one's really figured that out this year, and that's the reason they've been so good.
I'm blanking on who the broadcasters were during the Michigan State-St. Louis game, but they used that word over and over and over, that he is so unselfish, and he's such a great team player.
Yep.
So it's obvious coming from a guy who covers him.
It's incredible. He is as neat a kid to cover as we. I would think we're really fortunate in this league. I mean, we have had some really cool kids. People saw, like Kirk Cousins, for instance, a speech that got a lot of play on YouTube this year. The Michigan State quarterback. He's a really neat kid. I mean, almost inevitably when we hook one of our athletes up for an interview from the campus studios, you're just really impressed with them. But Draymond Green even stands out among that group. There's just something really special about him. It's been pretty cool to cover him.